You are now listening to theGrio's Black Podcast Network, Black Culture Amplified.
Hi, and welcome to The Blackest Questions. I'm your host, Dr. Christina Greer, politics editor for theGrio and associate professor of political science at Fordham University. In this podcast, we ask our guests 5 of the blackest questions so we can learn a little bit more about them and have some fun while we're doing it. We're also going to learn a lot about Black history, past and present. So here's how this works. We have 5 rounds of questions about us, Black history, the entire diaspora, current events, you name it. And with each round, the questions get a little tougher, and the guest has 10 seconds to get it right. If they answer the question correctly, they'll receive 1 symbolic black fist, and they'll hear this. And if they get it wrong, they'll hear this. But we still love them anyway. After the 4 questions, there's a black bonus round at the end just for fun. Our guests for this episode are husband and wife, Egypt Sherrod and Mike Jackson. Together for 18 years, the parents of 3 girls have become fan favorites on HGTV with their hit show, Married to Real Estate. Egypt has been a part of the HGTV family for more than a decade, hosting shows like Property Virgins, Flipping Virgins, and now Married to Real Estate. And together, Egypt and Mike were competitors on Rock the Block, winning season 3.
Winner of the exterior and outdoor spaces renovation is
Egypt and Mike.
But during the pandemic, the couple started documenting more of their everyday lives on social media. And with such positive feedback from followers, they embarked on a new journey, a reality show not only about real estate and home renovation, but about their personal ups and downs. Egypt and Mike, thank you all so much for joining The Blackest Questions.
Hey, thank you for having us.
Thank you. We're excited.
I'm really excited. You know, I have to admit, I don't watch HGTV as much as my mother, who I did not tell her that I was interviewing you two because I know that she would have gotten in her car from Philadelphia and driven up just to sit right here next to me to sort of sit here and fawn over you all.
Wait, your mom's from Philly. She's all right with me. You know,
There
that's
you
my
go.
hometown.
That's your hometown. Oh, fantastic. Now, you all are based in Atlanta.
Yes.
And so doing this, part of the research was, I'm told, Egypt, you had a successful career as a radio personality in New York before you came to Atlanta. And Mike, you were a celebrity DJ for many years before you sort of transitioned to contracting and building. Walk us through really quickly how we go from radio personality and DJ to Married to Real Estate.
Well, what's interesting is, like many people, we were moonlighting. We had dual careers. So people would listen to me on the radio during the day. And then I would leave my day job with my good benefits. And
the health benefits job, yes.
The good benefits job. And I'd go over to my real estate office where I was building a real estate career for myself.
And vice versa. I'd be on job sites 6 a.m. till 1 or 2 p.m. doing construction. And then I'm in somebody's venue or on the road DJing. And nobody knew the two were existing sometimes.
So our paths crossed in both careers at different times. I knew him as a DJ when I was a radio personality, and I said, he's cute and he knows he's cute. I got to stay away from him. And then I was flipping houses. I needed a new construction team. He shows up. I said, well, I asked my mentor to send me a new construction team, not a DJ.
Right. Not an attractive DJ. But we got work to do.
Sure, but we both learned the flip side of each other and fell in love on that front. Yeah,
absolutely. And now you all are creating great television that is so helpful to so many families as well as you all flip these houses. Okay, so we've never had 2 guests join us simultaneously before on The Blackest Questions. So we're going to do things a little differently. And since you all are used to competing against one another, you're going to each get a set of 2 questions. And if we're all tied up at the end, we'll have a 5th question to sort of break the tie. So are you all ready to answer The Blackest Questions?
Interesting.
You know what?
So wait a minute. Oh, I thought we were on the same team. And I said,
oh, no.
I dropped the ball, he'll pick it up.
Ooh.
Yeah, we're competing against one another. Okay.
That's right.
You know what? Bring it. Let's go.
So I'm
just a little family intrigue. Some bragging rights for 2023. That's all. Okay, Egypt, I'm going to start with you. So, first question. This establishment in New York City opened in 1913 as Herding and Siemens Music Hall. It's located in Harlem and is a noted venue for Black performers. What is the name of this place?
the Apollo Theater.
You are correct. So, as I mentioned, the Apollo was first opened in 1913 and was a burlesque theater that had a strict whites-only policy. But in 1934, it was bought by new owners who renovated it and reopened it with the intention of catering to the Black community in Harlem. The Apollo eventually became home to the nationally syndicated television show Showtime at the Apollo that ran from 1987 to 2008. Jimi Hendrix won first prize at the Apollo's Amateur Hour contest in 1964, and everyone from Billie Holiday, James Brown, Diana Ross, the Jackson 5, Aretha Franklin, Stevie Wonder, Lauryn Hill, and Mary J. Blige have performed there. So have you all, with your background in radio, Egypt, and Mike, with your background in DJing, have you all ever visited the Apollo Theater?
I've been to the Apollo multiple times because when I first moved to New York, it was my dream to go and boo someone.
We got Mr. Anthony Bartley.
At the theater. Come on, we grew up watching Showtime at the
That's right.
So that was part of the fun. And I went with my girls, and the first chance that Sandman came out, we were booing. And then, of course, there's so much amazing talent that's come out of Apollo Theater. Then as a radio personality, I had the opportunity to actually sit up in the mezzanine with Dougie Fresh and, and then judge. And, they introduced us. There's just so much history there. Walking through the front door, you're just enamored because that theater has meant so much for so many generations. It has literally created stars, created celebrities.
It is.
Do you remember Tracy Spencer?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Watching her for the first time in the Apollo Theater, and so many artists.
I've actually been blessed enough to perform on that stage twice.
Okay.
And, not to come out to compete, but I was on tour with a group and we performed there twice. So and it was amazing.
And you weren't the team that I booed though.
I wasn't a team. I didn't go on there to compete. We were artists they invited to perform.
Okay, now what did you perform, Mike? And who did you perform with? Because my producers told me about a singing group you used to have with your cousins.
Yes, one of them is my cousin. It's two guys. One is named Harm, the other is named Sincere Gubano. They are the Product G&B, 3-time Grammy Award winners, well known for the hit record Maria Maria with Carlos Santana.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So, I think the first thing that surprised me about going to the Apollo was it was so much smaller than I thought it would be.
Yes.
Just because on television, and you all know this, being on television, what things seem are not always the reality once you walk in. So when I walked in those important doors, Egypt, just as you said, like you feel the weight of history, but then I'm like, this is a tiny stage.
Yeah.
And well, you really realize it when you're standing in line at the women's room. It doesn't matter where you are ever. The line is always longer at the ladies' room. But when you're at the Apollo Theater, you might be there for the whole show.
That's right. Okay, now we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back with more of the Blackest Questions.
The GRIO Black Podcast Network is here, and it's everything you've been waiting for. News, talk, entertainment, sports, and today's issues, all from the Black perspective. Ready for real talk and Black culture amplified? Be inspired. Listen to new and established voices now on the GRIO Black Podcast Network. Listen today on the GRIO mobile app and tune in everywhere great podcasts are heard.
We are back. So let's pick up where we left off. Okay, so Mike, you ready now? Egypt she set a bar now.
You gave an easy question, but come on with it.
Okay. Mike, where are you from?
I'm from Hempstead, Long Island, New York City.
Hempstead, Long Island. Okay. All right. Come on, we got to represent for Philly, Egypt. Okay, so Mike, it's your turn. Hip hop music and culture is said to have started in the Bronx, and it includes 4 elements. One of them is DJing. What are the other 3 elements?
Other 3. You said one of them is what?
One of them is DJing.
One of them is DJing.
What are the other 3 elements of hip hop music and culture that started in the Bronx?
One is dancing, break dancing, right? One is MCing, battles, and the 4th, DJing, break dancing. I got 10 seconds. And I feel so bad. Y'all better not judge me for this. Oh, graffiti.
There you go. All right. So the roots of hip hop can be traced back to the Bronx, Brooklyn, Manhattan, Queens, and Staten Island. Let's not forget. And in 1973, DJ Kool Herc threw a back-to-school party in the Bronx, which is considered the birth of hip hop. Kool Herc was known for spinning break beats on 2 turntables, creating an endless loop of music. And the street where his back-to-school party happened was renamed to Hip Hop Boulevard in 2017. So the 4 elements for our listeners, again, are DJing, rapping or MCing, graffiti, and breakdancing or b-boying. So, Mike, you were once a DJ. My producers tell me you started DJing at 11. How did one get interested in DJing at the age of 11 in Hempstead, Long Island?
Right.
So I actually started in a singing group that transitioned into music in general. I started DJing because one of my neighbors right across the hall from me had this amazing DJ set, and he opened up his doors one day, and I said, "What is all the lights? What is all that sound coming in out of there? You got to show me that." And from there, it was over. I used to DJ all of my mother's gatherings. I used to DJ with 2 tape decks. I think I just stated myself.
2
tape decks, okay? I would press play, rewind, press play on the other one. But the old soul in me just loved all types of music. And I said, I want to do this. You know, my mother brought me some turntables. My grandfather, may he rest in peace, made me my first DJ coffin. And you could never get me to go outside because I would DJ every day, every hour of the day. As soon as I came home from school, I was DJing. And it got me around the world. So no place about it.
Now, when you all are home together, who's in charge of the music?
It's always him. Honestly, because I was in radio for over 20 years, I actually prefer silence. I like quiet. However, I'm married to someone who is also a DJ, so there's always music in our house.
And Mike, when you're DJing now, do you prefer old school turntables, or are you more into like the new computer programs where you can kind of create sounds just from your laptop?
Oh no, I would love 2 turntables, but unfortunately they stopped making the 1200s. So the CDJs is what we deal with, everyone, and it's easier to work with. It's lighter to carry whenever you're doing an event. So it's the digital.
Okay, it's the digital. All right, Egypt, I'm coming back to you. I'm loving the Sherrod Jackson competition over here.
I thought he was going to lose the last one. I put my money on beatboxing being one of the elements. So I'm glad that wasn't my question, but I'm ready. Okay, come on. Let's do it.
So, second question for Egypt. This Black man was the first Black member of the National Association of Realtors and has spent nearly 60 years in the real estate mortgage industry. He's currently the CEO of Legacy Home Loans in Las Vegas, which focuses on providing home loans to the Black community. Who is he?
Oh, I know it and I can't. I am going to have to redeem myself on this one.
You got 10 seconds. You better get it right.
Hold on. I know it. And it's on the tip of my tongue. Can I phone a friend?
No. You know, it's funny. We've thought about that idea on the show. We haven't done it just yet. Next time we do, I'll have to bring you guys back so you can phone a friend. Then Mike is looking at you like, I am not throwing you a lifeline, not doing it. So the answer is Ben Slayton. Ben Slayton became the first Black realtor in America in 1964 after he found someone to sponsor him at the cost of $5,000, which allowed him to join the board of realtors. He was adopted by a Jewish family who taught him the real estate and mortgage business, and that family also worked to get him the $5,000 scholarship. Slayton was the first Black man accepted as a franchise broker owner of Century 21.
Okay. And my uncle owns Century 21 offices in Philadelphia. So I am not going to be able to live this one down, but I don't have only one request. Dr. Make his question as hard as mine, please.
Okay. I will. But really quickly, how did you get into real estate, Egypt? So you have a family members who are in real estate, but how did you sort of transition? I know you were moonlighting, but
it was ingrained in me from childhood that real estate was the foundation of wealth. I grew up with uncles and with a father who, they were all in real estate. So on Thanksgiving, it wasn't pass the turkey. It was, hey, what about that house on Brown Street? By the way, pass the turkey. So I ran very far away from what was then deemed the family business into real estate and broadcasting because I wanted to do anything but what everyone was talking about. However, when we know something and it's just embedded in our core,
Right.
We understand its worth. So when I started making some money, some real money, I wanted to know what to do with it. Well, immediately I thought real estate. And I started flipping houses. That's where I met this one. And I said, wow, I really love just this business more than I thought I would. Maybe if I get my, here we go, if I get my real estate license, I can take the middleman out and keep the commission on all the properties I'm selling.
Right.
Well, the joke was on me because I got bit by the real estate bug and I fell in love with the business. What I really loved about it was I was able to help people leave legacy, not debt. I was able to help families in many cases become the very first. They were the very first to experience home ownership and show folks that it's really just about getting off the fence, putting one foot in front of the other, and you too can own a piece of the earth. And that's the one thing they are not making any more of.
Right.
And so more than 20 years later, I still really love what I do for a living. I love this business. It's fulfilling and every day looks different. And my uncles who are retired from real estate now laugh at me. So
right. Well, I mean, and this question though is for both of you, because in so many ways you all are mentors and leaders for a lot of people who watch your shows, especially Black people who are doing the very thing, Egypt, that you just said, trying to decide whether or not they want to take that leap. Because some people, especially who don't come from a legacy of home ownership, this is a huge endeavor that you all are demystifying for them. So for both of you, what are some things people should do to make home ownership a reality?
Well, number one is understand that credit really can work for you.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that you're managing your credit smartly. You're paying your bills, not just paying them off. You got to pay them on time, because that is really where you start building your credit, showing that you are responsible. So that's number one. Understand the true value of it. Don't stay away from it. Definitely open cards, just manage them responsibly. Save your money. You know what? This is what I did when all my girlfriends were out in their 20s buying pocketbooks and high heel shoes, and I was buying property, because now that property can pay for all of the pocketbooks and high heel shoes. And you can do it too, guys. I think what happens is when we grow up seeing failure, and seeing those who can't stay in their homes or who are too afraid to put their money behind real estate, because honestly, some of the generations that came before us were just making ends meet. They were just trying to pay the rent. They didn't even have dreams of owning homes because it was just about paying the rent and keeping a roof over their heads. But now every generation's doing just a little bit better. So we're in a position to build our children up to actually inherit, not just want to purchase, to inherit a real estate legacy. But you start with that first property and you can do it. It doesn't matter what type of job you have, how much you're earning, as long as you're managing your credit and you're saving more than you spend, so that you can really build up. You can purchase a house with as little as 3% down. And many people don't know that. You get together with a family member who's also managed their credit well, even if you didn't qualify, let's say for a $150,000 house, well, together you both can qualify, and then you start from there. You take the equity out of the first one and you roll that into the second one. So everyone can do this. Get off the fence. Don't be afraid. And let's make it a part of our daily language, even with our children. Like with our daughter, Kendall, she's 10, she owns her first investment property. And that's because she understood what a mortgage was. We made these things part of the conversation to quote unquote demystify. The same way kids know what an Instagram or TikTok is, they should be able to know what compounding interest is.
Right.
Let's have conversations.
They also need to know that there are a lot of programs and resources that you can tap into in order to be able to afford a house, especially for first-time home buyers. Do the research and do your homework, because it's available. Okay. And it differentiates depending on what state you're in. So you just got to do the research.
Okay. Thank you all so much. We're going to have a quick break and we'll be right back. I'm with Egypt and Mike.
Witty, honest, entertaining. Introducing Dear Culture with Panama Jackson on the DJing Black Podcast Network. Listen today on the DJing mobile app for all the Black culture debates you don't want to miss. Also available wherever great podcasts are heard.
Okay, we're back. Mike, are you ready?
I'm ready. Bring it.
Okay, second question. And Egypt, I promise it'll be as difficult as yours.
Make his hard.
You gave her 15 seconds. I'm gonna do 15 seconds.
Okay, we'll do it. It's equity here. It's equity.
So keep it as is.
Okay, so Mike, here we go. This Black family based in Atlanta owns one of the largest and most successful construction and real estate development companies in the country. Some of their work includes the Smithsonian National Museum of African American History in Washington, D.C., and the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. Who are they?
Oh my God, I was literally just talking
We were
about them
just
the
at a
other
panel,
day.
so you got this answer, you know.
Jeez.
Projects at the airport.
Tons of them.
We met his niece.
My God.
Okay, I think we're up. Mike? Egypt, did you want to jump in?
Let them know. Let's break it down.
It's the Russell family of H.J. Russell and Company.
Remember we met his niece and I just did the panel?
Yes.
The company was founded by Herman J. Russell, who took over his father's plastering company in 1957. Herman passed away in 2014, and the company is now run by his son, Michael. And as I mentioned, H.J. Russell and Company is responsible for some of the biggest projects in Atlanta, including a new hospital that's in the works right now. And the company is also dedicated to philanthropy, giving back millions each year, and has a program that connects Black entrepreneurs to resources. So Egypt and Mike, it seems as though you are well aware of who the Russell family is and what they've done in Atlanta.
We're gonna need a do-over episode.
Hey, you all are welcome back anytime. So in Mike, how did you get into construction, and what do you see, especially as so many younger Black men and women actually are more interested in getting into the construction business? What would you tell them if, someone came to you and said, I want to get started, but I don't know how to get an entree, a foot in the door?
Right. Well, I started in the business at an extremely young age. I got my feet wet with my grandfather and my uncle because they had their own construction business, and they would always take me on the site. They would show me the ins and outs of it all. So I was working early. And then when I was actually able to legally be on these sites and do things the way they were supposed to do, I started with the local 28 trade here in New York City, and that's sheet metal workers in HVAC. And then that took on for about 8 years. And then we were in Atlanta, and I started my own company called Jackson Draper Renovations, where I have a partner, Uncle Mark, who's also on the show.
My uncle.
Yeah. And several teams to where we just go at it. And obviously you see that on the show. Now, as far as any young man or young lady trying to break into the business, there are several routes to it. One, you cannot legally be on a job site unless you're 18 and older. Okay. So that's one. But that doesn't mean you can't learn the trade. They have a lot of trade schools that will teach you how to do this and get you in front of the right people. There's a lot of programs as well. You just got to do the research. They'll teach you apprenticeships and so on, to where once you get out of these trade schools or apprenticeships or find yourself a mentor, then they set you up so when the time is right, you can actually be in the field and choose where you want to get into, which trade, which shop, what actually works for you.
Okay. Well, hopefully for our listeners out there who are interested, you all can, I think the key that both of you all are saying is if you want to do it, you have to spend a little bit of time researching where to get started, because the resources are there and the opportunities are abundant. Okay, let's have a quick break, and then we're going to come back for our tiebreaker question between Egypt and Mike. Okay, we're back. It's time for our tiebreaker. This is for 2023, the Blackest Question bragging rights in the Sherrod Jackson household. Okay, so the tiebreaker question number 5. It's the first person to shout out the right answer gets the point.
Okay, get off.
Okay. This country is known as the land bridge between Africa and Asia and is bordered by the Mediterranean and Red Seas. What country is it?
Egypt.
Egypt got it first.
I said first.
You did that.
Wait. But see, that's a trick question. You said it's the land bridge between Africa and Asia, but Africa is a continent and Egypt is in Africa.
Correct.
Yes, and it's bordered by the Mediterranean Red Seas, but it's known as the land bridge. It's the country that's sort of the bridge between the two continents.
You taught us something we did not know today.
Yeah.
So Egypt is a transcontinental country that stretches from the northeast corner of Africa to the southwest corner of Asia. And Egypt has 27 different governorates and is largely covered by desert with the Nile River running south to north. And so this is why it's known as this bridge between the two continents.
You taught us something we didn't know. You know, Egypt, we were supposed to visit for obvious reasons. We were supposed to visit Egypt 3 times. And the last time the unrest broke out there, right? But it's back on our travel bucket list. We actually got over to Africa twice. We did Durban and KwaZulu-Natal. Then we went to Morocco, which was quite the experience. That's where I found out I was pregnant with Harper, in Morocco.
Oh, wow.
We were hiking in the Atlas Mountains and I got a little sick. I thought it was the air pressure. So we came down and we wound up going to, because they don't have pharmacies like we have in the US. So they have apothecaries and healers and all of that. So we went, his name was Jaleel the Healer. Do you remember?
Jaleel the Healer, yep.
He took one look at me and he said he couldn't give me any tea or anything to help my stomach because I was pregnant. And I said, no, sir, I think I have gas.
He said, no, ma'am, I think that you're pregnant.
Wrong. He says, no. What's interesting is I had a hysterectomy planned for that same year. So I'm really like, you were so far off base, sir. But he was so right. I was already 3 months pregnant with
there with no belly, came back with half a belly.
But just so you know, when we go visit Egypt, we will not be coming back with babies. Stops closed. But that's very interesting. When you ask the question, I was thinking, well, it certainly wasn't someplace in Africa. It's a land bridge between. So that you have expanded our knowledge of Egypt now. Thank you for that.
And during the month of January, theGrio is amplifying Africa, as we call it, with unique content and conversations. So we couldn't miss that opportunity to highlight your namesake and also hopefully let our listeners know a little bit more about Egypt, which is, as we all know, on the continent of Africa, but it does serve as this bridge between 2 continents. Okay, so before we get to Black Lightning, let's just take a quick break. And we're back, and it's time for my favorite part of the show, the Black Lightning round. And so before I get you all out of here, the Black Lightning round is for each of you. And this is just, there's no right or wrong answer. I just want the first thing that pops in your mind, you just let us know, okay? So some questions are for both of you and some questions are just for each of you. So for both of you, if you had to choose, are you building a home from scratch or are you renovating something older? Egypt?
Renovating something older.
Mike?
Building something from scratch.
This question is for both of you. Who has better food, New York or Atlanta?
Ooh, I'm gonna lose my New York card on this, but I gotta say Atlanta. I have to say it.
Atlanta, yeah.
Okay. The block is hot with this one.
He can never go back to Hempstead, Long Island. He's not welcome there after saying that.
Egypt, I know you're newly into gardening. What's your favorite plant to harvest?
Ooh, interesting. You know, I love cucumbers, tomatoes. Yeah, I can't choose just one. That's an even harder question than everything we've done now.
Well, I'm going to tell you, my new thing is mint. And so I've been doing some research, and mint is sort of from our ancestors, and it's sort of, it's a spiritual, magical plant that I had no idea had such a connection to, centuries of Black people in this country specifically. So mint is my new passion, just so you know. Okay, Mike, this one's for you. There's talk of a Martin TV show reboot. Good idea or bad idea?
Bad idea. Martin.
Okay.
Classic. Don't touch it.
Don't touch it. I'm with you, Mike.
They keep all the same cast members.
They can't.
They can't because Tommy's passed away.
Wow.
Leave it alone.
Okay, this is for both of you. When the kids want something, who are they coming to first, mom or dad?
They come to mom. When mom says no, they go to dad. Dad says yes. Mom gets upset at dad. Dad says I'm sorry, but the kids still get their way. That's how. That's
right. Mike, what do you say? You agree? Smart man. Okay, Egypt, you can only watch one reality show for the next 5 years. What are you picking?
Oh my gosh. It's got to be Ready to Love on OWN. I love that show so much.
Okay. And Mike, I know you love Caribbean food. What's your go-to order?
Ooh, my go-to order. Yeah. Okay. Curry chicken with mixed vegetables, rice and peas, and plantains. Okay.
Listen, the next time you all come to New York, you got to swing by my house. I'll make you all some oxtails.
Oh,
Ooh.
My
Well,
dad gets fresh oxtails from the Amish in Delaware. So,
that's a different taste.
you know, we just lost our New York card on your show, though.
well, you can sneak in town. I won't tell anybody. Okay. And before we go, you all just tell us a little bit more about what viewers can expect to see on season 2, Married to Real Estate.
Well, number one, we really just want to express so much gratitude. This was for us. It was, hey, Mike, let's try a show together. Let's have fun. Let's show folks what we do. We had no idea it would turn into such a huge hit with over 19 million viewers. And we're just grateful from our heart, the Jackson family, to yours. We're really just grateful for all the support. But this season, you'll see our business grow, our kids grow. Mommy trying to deal with the fact that the baby just will not get potty trained. And just more members of our family and our business as we expand our empire.
You'll get to see a lot more of the same, meaning transparency, being relatable. You'll get to see Serene grow, the dog. You'll get to see Harper attend school for the first time. And that's a tearjerker in itself for myself. You get to see growth. You know, there's a lot of creativity that's going to happen. We stepped it up from the first season, and I think it's going to be great.
And bigger and better. We really tried to outdo ourselves, especially after the pressure of winning Rock the Block. We're like,
that's right.
Well, when we go back to Atlanta, we're going to have to rock every one of these renovations out. So you just hopefully mind-blowing designs and renovations for you.
Well, Egypt and Mike, I just want to thank you all so much for joining us here in the Blackest Questions. We got to come back so we can have another tiebreaker so we can make sure, you know, we have a true winner in the Sherrod Jackson household. But I want to make sure all of our viewers and listeners check out Married to Real Estate season 2, where Egypt and Mike have even more for us. And I really want to thank you all for just educating so much of the public about home ownership, and really, as I said before, demystifying a lot of the process and letting us have some fun and some joy in the process. I want to thank you all, listeners, for listening to The Blackest Questions. The show is produced by Sasha Armstrong and Jeffrey Trudeau, and Regina Griffin is the director of the podcast network. If you like what you heard, subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode, and please download the DJing app to listen and watch many more great shows. Thanks for listening.